Vietnamese has many types of pronouns, which together create a huge variety. But don't worry, I won't overwhelm you right from the start. Let's begin with the first type, true pronouns. There aren't too many of them. First person, tôi, tớ, tao, ta, mình. Second person, mày, ni, cậu. Third person, nó, y, hắn. However, note that, except for tôi and tôi, first person pronouns in Vietnamese must be used together with a corresponding second person pronoun. For example, tao is typically paired with mày. Plural forms. Most of these can be made plural by adding words like chúng, bọn, tụi, or for the second person, bay, chúng bay, or for third person, chúng or họ. Kinship-based pronouns. Here comes the most intimidating part, pronouns based on kinship terms. These don't work like I or you in English. The same word can mean I, you, or even he or she, depending on context and relationship. Also, these pronouns carry more than just grammatical meaning. They express respect, age difference, familiarity, and social roles. Let me show you with an example. Hi, xin chào, anh là người Việt, em khỏe không? David, em khỏe, cảm ơn anh. Em là người Mỹ. And translation is, Hi, hello, I'm Vietnamese, how are you? David, I'm good, thank you, I'm American. Notice how Hải uses anh for himself and em for David, because Hải is older. So in this case, anh is elder brother used by Hải to refer to himself, and also used by David to address him. And em is younger sibling, used by David to refer to himself and by Hải to address David. This is the key. You use the word that fits your role in relation to the person you are speaking with. Here are some common kinship-based pronouns. Em, younger sibling, chị. Older sister, anh. Older brother, chú, man younger than your father. Cô, woman younger than your father. Bác, man or woman older than your father. Ông, man around your grandfather's age. Bà, woman around your grandmother's age. Cháu or con, younger person, like a child or your children's generation. These are always used in pairs. If one person uses chị, the other uses em. But it's not always based strictly on age. If someone is in a position of authority, you might still call them anh or chị even if they're younger than you. Also, some people use mày for a younger person even if they refer to themselves as chị or cô. Calling someone chú or cô might make them feel old. Talking about others, third person. To refer to someone in the third person, you can add ấy or use a tonal change for some pronouns. For example, anh ấy, chị ấy, em ấy, or ông ấy becomes ông, bà ấy becomes bà, etc. If the person is younger, people often say nó, cháu nó, em nó, or more casually or even disrespectfully, thằng đó, that guy, or con đó, that girl. Now we'll look at how to make plural forms for this type of pronouns. To make kinship or third person pronouns plural, you can add chúng, tụi, bọn, or for second person, các or mấy. Sometimes people group everyone by saying things like anh chị em, which means older brothers, sisters, younger siblings, or bà con cô bác, which means grandmas, aunts, uncles, and cousins. Or more generally, mọi người. Though this may sound too casual in formal situations. In business or formal settings, sometimes people use quý khách or quý vị. Social ambiguity. Sometimes you're not sure how to address someone. Maybe you don't know their age or status. Asking might be awkward. So to be safe, people will sometimes intentionally use the wrong role to avoid offending. For example, even if Hải is older, he might say, Hải, xin chào, em là người Việt, anh khỏe không? David still replies with, David, em khỏe, cảm ơn anh. It helps avoid that awkward, who's the older one moment. Family terms confusing even for natives. When talking about your actual relatives, things get really tricky. You don't just use the common words like bác or cô. You need to know specific titles like your maternal uncle or aunt who are younger than your mother, cậu or dì, your aunt's husband, dượng, your uncle's wife, mợ or thím. There are many, and yes, even native speakers can get confused sometimes. Other types of pronouns. In Vietnamese, almost any noun referring to a person can become a pronoun. Spouses may call each other mình or use ông xã or bà xã or nhà tôi to refer to their spouse. To avoid sounding either too formal or too rude, people sometimes use their own names. Hải, xin chào, Hải là người Việt. David, khỏe không? David khỏe, cảm ơn Hải. This is common between close friends with a small age gap, or among actors or singers. Also, the word bạn or friend is not commonly used to address someone of similar age. And bạn ấy is he or she. Finally, people may also use job titles as pronouns. Bác sĩ, doctor, thầy or cô, teacher or sư, monk. This can sometimes be used for both first and second person, depending on context. Conclusion. Pronouns in Vietnamese are limitless, from simple pronouns to kinship terms, from names to job titles. Vietnamese pronouns are deeply rooted in age, respect, social hierarchy, and context. There's no single rule that always applies. And honestly, that's what makes them beautiful, and yes, complicated. But don't worry, just take your time and learn case by case. Even native speakers mess up sometimes.